Well, we're going to stay on theme here. We're going to stay on theme with where we've been the last several weeks because the world is on fire and we keep pouring gas on it because we're idiots. And we're going to talk about the potential for World War III and kind of where things are going here because last week, I don't remember if we got into it on foreign and domestic or not, but there was reports that Putin was preparing to send an additional 200,000 troops into Ukraine with a new offensive, to which I don't think anyone should be surprised. One, because he's Putin, but two, because we keep backing him into a corner, and we know enough. Everyone should know enough about Putin to know that he's not just going to back out, bow down, and wave the white flag. So there were reports of that. Now there's new reports of 500,000 soldiers, which would be quite significant. You know, that is a show of force right there. And they're talking about coming in. We can put up this graph that someone put out there, or not graph, but map. They're suggesting it's going to be two fronts pushing into eastern and southern Ukraine, as you can kind of see there with the arrows. It's a little hard to make out, but you know, is this true? Is it going to be 200? Is it going to be 500? Is it going to be 10,000? I mean, we don't really know. Ever since this thing kicked off last February, it's been really hard to track. The propaganda game has been strong in this particular conflict for the whole time. So again, I'm not saying this is a fear tactic. I'm not saying it, okay, he's sending 200,000 or he's sending 500,000. I don't know. I'm not in the intel community anymore. I don't know which is true, which is not true. Only Vlad knows that. Only Putin knows. But I will tell you, as I was suggesting earlier, he's not going to go silently into the night. And the only reason this is being suggested or reported as the likely outcome is because we're dumbasses and we keep sending new equipment and our NATO partners keep sending new equipment and we keep shoving Vladimir Putin, his leadership staff and their military apparatus into a corner, which is just so damn reckless. So for the people out there who are like, well, this isn't good, you know, he's an evil person. Okay, you're not wrong. But this thing would be toning down. We're going to show you what Trump said about this in a second, but this thing would be winding down. Shouldn't even be at this point, but would be winding down if it weren't for our efforts, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. We're pushing this war. Like we're the ones accelerating it. Every time we hook them up with Patriot missiles or tanks or, you know, another 10 or 20 billion, I think we're over 100 already. Like we're pushing Putin into a place where, like you said, this guy's never going to lose face on this, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think he would send the last Russian child rather than lose this war. I think that he would maybe even get into the tactical nukes. And that's not like a scare factor. I'm not trying to throw fear porn at you, but does anyone think that Putin is not going to continue this fight rather than look like a loser and being defeated by Ukraine? I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No.
So there has to be some off-ramp to some kind of peace somewhere, or we're screwed.
100%. No, he and his staff will die before they just are the outright losers here. And in the end, because of overwhelming force, if China didn't get involved, you could go down this rabbit hole where maybe they're losers in the end because they get crushed. But everyone gets crushed. This is the definition of mutually assured destruction. Everyone will get crushed in this because they have the most nukes on the planet. We've sent over $100 billion last year, which is double the Russian military budget on an annual basis. So we just keep getting this all out of sorts and all ramped up because people back here want to make that money, pad their accounts, because Lockheed and all these companies, the military industrial complex needs to feed, needs to eat. It's, I mean, there's blood in the water right now, and they're all thrilled about it. But Trump spoke out. You know, obviously Trump kicked off his campaign this past weekend in South Carolina and New Hampshire, and I would argue he had some great things to say, as he did. I would also argue he made some mistakes, but he's dead on with what he says right here about the need for peace between Ukraine and Russia. Take a listen.
The situation in Ukraine is very dangerous, explosive, and escalating by the day. Joe Biden's weakness and incompetence has brought us to the brink of nuclear war, and now Biden is doing what he said 10 months ago would lead to World War III. He is sending in American tanks, It's far past the time for all parties involved to pursue a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine before this already horrific catastrophe spirals out of control and ends up leading, indeed, to World War III. And this would be a war like no other war, because this would be a nuclear war. As I have said many times before, Russia's invasion of Ukraine would have never happened if I was in the White House. Not even thinkable, not even a possibility. We must end this ridiculous war and demand peace in Ukraine now before it gets worse. And believe it or not, it would be easy to do. It would be very easy to do.
He's right. He's 95% of that is right, and kudos to him for saying it. It would have been a possibility. He said it wouldn't have even been a possibility. No, I mean, Russia and China are always trying to get a leg up and catch us because we're the big dog. They want to be us. So that's never going to change. But it probably wouldn't have happened because we led with a peace through strength model and let people know, hey, F around and you're going to find out. You're going to find out, and you don't want to find out what we can do, what America can do, and you know what America can do. So he's right in that sense. He's right that we need to provide an off-ramp. We need to do this. He says it would be easy. I don't know that easy is the term I would use to describe it, but it is possible. It is possible if you want peace. The problem is right now it's clear as day that the DC swamp does not want peace.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.